Good morning, Facebook. I'm posting this from the Teal Center's page. Um, I hope everyone is healthy and happy out there in their homes this morning. Um, I just we're going to share every day as much as possible on Facebook and YouTube platforms, resources and support for those of us who, like myself, who are at home during this crisis. It's been up and down, certainly for me. I did file for unemployment on Saturday, and at least I'm grateful for the fact that I can apply for unemployment. But I do recognize that it sort of triggered me with some anxiety and some stress, just even doing the application. And similarly, for many of the Teal Center therapists who are on 1099 contracts, they don't have necessarily the resources available as employees do to find government help. There's not much of a social safety net for them. So all of us at the Teal Center here created a GoFundMe campaign. Thanks to Angeli O. Thanks, Angeli. And you can find it if you go to GoFundMe. You'll find it's called Teal Center COVID-19 Fund, and we will be distributing those funds to the therapists at the Teal Center who need it the most, who don't have any other sources of income or support. So please consider, if you're doing okay and you still are able to work via telework, to consider supporting our therapists. Thank you. While we're all in this stage of uncertainty, as I mentioned during my meditation on Thursday last week, the practice right now for me, and this is what I wanted to share today, is how to stay mindful. I mean, mindfulness is something that we all talk about a lot, of course, at the Teal Center, but I think generally in our community and in the United States right now. Mindfulness is something that's talked about. A lot of people now know what yoga is and practice yoga, which is a mindfulness practice. So many more people now practice meditation. But I wanted to talk a little bit about mindfulness, which is really the act of being the observer, right? Observing oneself through your greater presence in order to stay awake and aware of what your thoughts are doing, what your emotions are doing. And then the compassion part, so this is mindfulness, self-compassion, then the compassion is extending loving support to yourself when the mindfulness brings to your attention that there's pain, uncertainty, anguish, despair, grief, and giving yourself that love. So I just wanted to walk us through a short exercise to practice mindfulness. As the Buddha said, meditation is key. And I think he said that because meditation is the very act of being mindful, of being the observer through our own greater presence of what is going on in our body, in our mind, and in our heart. So I invite you to sit in a comfortable position if you're listening to this now or later. It doesn't matter if you are not here live. When we join, even at different times of the day or week, it doesn't really matter, because I think time is just part of the illusion of our physical existence here. And so we're still connecting very much, whether you're listening to this now or later. So I encourage you just to find a comfortable position. I'm going to grab a stone. If anyone has, you can pause this. You can grab just a rock from outside, or if you have a crystal or a flower bud from your garden. It doesn't really matter. Just something that helps you just to connect in with the earth. Um, Helps to ground your system while you do this mindfulness activity. And you can do this anytime. It only takes maybe 5 minutes. So I invite you to close your eyes for a minute and just take a breath, a nice big belly breath, and let your exhale relax your whole system. Just letting everything go, letting everything fall a little bit more closely to the earth. Relaxing the eyes and the eyebrows. It doesn't take but a few breaths to calm the nervous system. Then I'm going to ask everybody to put their hands on their hearts. This just helps us to really connect in with our own self-compassion, self-love, self-care. And then I want you to think of an event or a circumstance or a relationship in your life. And I don't think that many of us will have to reach very far for this right now, that triggers you emotionally in some way, that takes you out of perhaps your loving presence and puts you into a place of disorientation, fear, anxiety, anger, sadness, whatever that is. So just close your eyes and picture the situation or the conversation, anything that has affected you emotionally in the last day or two, and allow the script of that movie to play in front of you, kind of like on a movie screen, and allow yourself to observe or to watch the unfolding of that script that led to you feeling angry or sad or any form of upset. And then click the pause button right as you notice yourself getting upset. Just click pause and allow yourself to acknowledge that you are feeling some trigger, some emotional trigger, whatever that feeling is. Recognize that you're feeling that. Recognize that there is suffering inherent in that feeling. We all suffer. As the Dalai Lama and in Buddhism, they say, life is suffering. So just acknowledging that trigger of pain in your system. And then as you watch that paused script on the movie screen, just notice what that feels like in your system. Does your stomach get tight? Does your head get hot? Do you start to shake? Like, just notice, what does that feel like in your body? That somatic awareness of what that emotion feels like, and your awareness of that will help you to recognize that now and in the future. So pay attention to every little thing that you're feeling. And then allow it to be what it is. Allow it to feel hot, to feel shaky, to feel tight, to feel uncomfortable. See if you can breathe into the space of allowing those sensations to be what they are without needing to change them. And then, with our hands on our hearts, give yourself that word of encouragement that you would give perhaps to a small child experiencing that emotion of upset. If we see a small child crying and upset, of course we reach our arm around that child and say, it's okay, you're going to be okay, I love you, I know this is hard, I know this hurts, I know this is scary, but I love you and I'm sorry and I forgive you if there's anything to be forgiven. that it's okay. And so just whatever feels right to you, extend that loving presence to yourself with your hands on your heart. And then allow your movie to dissolve, to disappear. And that's it. That's all it takes is taking that moment to find your own loving presence, observing your suffering, acknowledging it, investigating it, and giving yourself the love that you all deserve. All right. Namaste. Have a good day, everyone.